Well, folks, we're back up at the palace Bob McVay built. Today, we're finally at a flow test, my Pontiac heads. Last video you saw from up here, we were getting the new upgrades done. The Data Mic Mini USB from Performance Trends for Bob's Superflow SF600 head flow bench. Took us a lot longer than we expected it to be. We were thinking it was just going to be a quick little ding, bing, bang, boom, plug it all in and rock and roll. Was not the case. We had to do a whole lot of calibration to get this thing ready to go. Unfortunately, we had a set of heads from Eric Weingartner that we could use as a benchmark to be able to get this thing all kind of dialed in the way it is. Since that point in time, we now have my set of 1971 stock Pontiac 350 heads. Now these are 1971 heads. They are casting number 94, which means they are a, I believe, 250 horsepower Pontiac 350 head from 1971. It is a matching set. These are the original ones that came off this motor. They have had no port work done whatsoever, but it does have new valves, new seats and guides and all that kind of fun stuff because we did have a sunken exhaust seat, so we just went ahead and redid the entire set of heads. But as far as the actual port work goes, nothing has been done on that side of things. So, I believe, with everything we figured out last time we were up here, we are ready to rock and roll. Okay, we're zeroed out.
So I need to be looking at that, right?
Yeah, we want to make sure that this flow pressure reading stays below 101%.
Yeah, but I'm looking for.
You're looking at. We are starting at 600 thousandths height, and we're going to work our way backwards to in increments of 100. See where we end up. So 212.2 CFM.
212 times 2 is 4.
To make 425 horsepower max flow through that.
Yeah.
At 600 lift.
Yeah.
That's probably about right. I don't know if I have any kind of head flow numbers to compare that to, but Pontiac guys, are we getting the ball game? Let's keep testing. So we're down at 5, so I'm going to change my data point to 5. There we go. And we are still. We're learning to play with the new toys. Just a second. All right. So 500 lift.
Yeah.
Flow range 4. Yeah. Flow range 4.
Yeah.
Hit it.
And the other thing is we need to be watching that instead of this.
Yes. Watch that number.
Yeah.
That's better. So the neat thing is what this will do is it takes 30 samples and it grabs 30 samples, then it averages it out to give us what our actual CFM is. So this one we can see it made 219.8 CFM. It used 68.6% of the flow, which is fine. So we need to reflow 600 lift.
We need to go down 1.
Yes, so we need to go down 1. You're still on 4. I need to make sure that this is in 4. And this is data point 6, which is 600 lift. Okay. And we're doing this on 28 inches. Okay, 320. So essentially no difference in flow between 500 and 600 lift, which is probably what you would expect to see out of a stock set of cast iron heads.
Yeah, 6.
So then
5.
Go down to 5. We already did 5.
4.
We're going to go to 4. And we really don't need to test like each individual cylinder. This is just, we're just testing one.
Yeah, we're just seeing what this head, you want to get an idea what this head
Right.
looks.
See where it's taking those sample readings. Okay. 260 FM at 400 lift. I'd say that's probably about accurate. Okay. One thing also to take note of this is this stuff. The clay definitely makes a major difference as far as what works out with this and what the actual flow shows up. If you have any kind of a leak around this, it will definitely greatly impact the CFM. When we were doing the testing the other day on Eric Weingartner's heads, there was a little bit of an air leak up on the top of this, and it was like a 10 CFM difference, just not being like completely sealed on the lip of that head. So odd things. Obviously, you're going to have an intake manifold and a gasket that's going to be on here when you're running it on a motor, but this kind of does a little bit of that whole intake run thing. Okay, so you are at...
I think this is supposed to widen out and allow the air to do this instead of without it tumble.
You're basically making an intake runner.
Yeah, but you're allowing it to collapse. I would be the easiest way, I would say. Ready?
All right, so we're gonna do data point number 3. So, and we're still on number 4. So data point 3, 300 lift. Go ahead. So 177.3 CFM at 300 lift.
55%.
Now that's getting really low on the percentage
So
ones.
let's go to 2.
So you want to go down to 3?
Yeah.
You want to retest that same one?
Sure.
Okay. So we're going to retest 3. This is a learning experience for both of us. This is the first time we've ever really done this. All right, so I'm going to go to 3 on this still, and I'm going to go to 3 on this. And let's compare what they do. Still reading high percentage-wise, but it's pretty dang close. But it's 112% reading.
169. What was the other? 177?
Yeah. 169, 170. 169, 170 is what it's reading, but it's at 100 and it's mathematically trying to calculate it versus the actual flow percentage. So I think that's probably still right. Now on 2, I think we do need to be at 3. So let's go back down to 2.
So you were wrong.
Oh, happens.
Yeah.
I was wrong once. It was a Tuesday.
2. Let's redo 3.
You want to redo 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think we missed it. 3 and 3.
3 on 3.
Yep.
Okay. Because that percentage is so high.
So we need to go to 4.
Yeah, I think we got to test that at 4. For those of you who happen to have one of these units, are we doing this completely wrong? Let us know in the comments below. All right, so we're testing data point number 3 again, which is 300 lift, on 4, which is 4 on there. Hit it again. Flow reading, it's not maxing that out. So 177 is about where we need to be. And that's remarkably more flat.
What was we before?
177.3.
So we're still pretty close.
Yeah. And it's staying pretty consistent. It's not bouncing all over the place. Okay, so then we'll go down to 200 lift. And this one I think we're probably definitely going to have to drop to level 3 for. And here's the thing, guys. Like any kind of time you're doing a dyno run and you're comparing apples to apples, if you're not comparing the same apple off the same tree at the same time, it's not really going to be the same thing. So our readings may be off from a little bit from what you're seeing based on whatever it is that we're seeing. Hit it. That on the wrong setting. My bad. My bad. My bad. Sorry. Sorry.
So it should be 2, wouldn't it?
2. Almost like I'm supposed to know my technology. Okay, try that again. That's more like it. Alright, 28 inches, 73%, and take the sample. 111.6 CFM. Yeah. Then you want to take it all the way down to 100?
Yeah, we won't run it very long because it's pretty hard on the machine.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's sucking hard on a very small straw.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on 3. I don't know why this keeps changing. I think that's probably a low enough CFM that needs to go down to 2.
I'm sorry, what now?
I think this is a low enough percentage. I think we need to pull this in 2. Limit that down to 2.
Because of the 50?
Yeah, because it's so low. So let's go back and do data point number 1. We're doing this at setting number 2. All right. So at 100 lift, 65.5 CFM, probably. And then 111.2 at 200 lift, 177 at 300 lift, 206 at 400 lift, 219 at 500 lift, 220 at 600 lift. Does that sound reasonable to you? All right, well, I'm going to use my handy-dandy little pocket smartphone supercomputer here. And I don't see anybody that lists any 94 casting.
You see anything on the other one? The other casting?
Don't know what you blah, 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 blah. Small valve head can flow too without switching to bigger valves. I don't remember flowing a 94, but other small valve heads from 1970 flow just as well as street-ported 6X or 5C heads. You don't even have to open up the intake. Yes, stock. Most of the work, and not a lot of it, through the runner into the bowl. 220 CFM is no problem. So far, I've seen 250 CFM in a mild ported small valve head. 220-ish and good velocity is enough to make a nice 350 or 400 street motor. So we're seeing literally right at 220. So I would say that's probably in the ballpark. And realistically speaking, this set of heads is going on essentially like a stock rebuild.
Oh my goodness.
You mean to do that,
No.
Mr. Injuries? I didn't share your picture of you climbing up on the cabinetry with the
My God,
YouTube.
you shared the picture of me. Shared the picture of me up there.
On Facebook, I didn't show the people on YouTube, so we won't get yelled at by all these people. Just the couple people that pay attention to my Facebook page. We're not testing exhaust flow. Not probably worth the work.
Well, we would if
we had it calibrated.
Yeah, if we had calibrated, because to me, doing it and not knowing is, and it's no, we know it ain't right.
Yeah.
Why do it?
Right.
All you're doing is this.
Well, at least now we know how we can calibrate.
Now
it.
the only other part is if we can figure out some type of calibration numbers, so then when we port those, when we open them up a little bit to see what kind of difference it makes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Apple to apple, right?
I just want to, and realistically speaking, I don't even really care what that number is. What I want to see is on this, I want to see my percentage change.
Right.
As long as, so back up here a second. So we're building two different Pontiac 350s at the moment. One is going to be basically a stock rebuild for my 1971 Pontiac Le Mans Sport. It's original numbers matching car. These are the original heads that came off that motor. We're keeping it stock-ish. Obviously, we've done new valves, new seats, all that kind of fun stuff, but we're not getting crazy with it. We are putting a new flat tappet camshaft in it. We are putting new pistons in it, stock crankshaft. It does have a set of forged rods because one of my rods was bad. But otherwise, we're not bumping compression up anything major. We're not doing anything crazy with it. It's going to be a stock-ish rebuild. So I don't really care what this thing produces. These, however, are my 62 stamping big valve screw-in stud heads that I'm planning on using on the Pontiac 350 HO build that we're working on.
And for you people that's watching very long, yes, I'm going to try to get these done so he quits repeating himself.
I could have a new viewer problem. I get at least 2 new viewers a day. If you're a new viewer, welcome to the game. But the idea here is we're throwing a much better head at that 350 HO build to be able to allow better airflow. More air in, more air out, more power.
You might get a fucking crane system to hold this up.
Well, I'm also the only idiot that brings you...
I'll tell you what, I'm going to be what Eric says. I don't flow cast iron because I can't lift it on the machine.
Yeah, because you're going to end up with a hernia doing it?
Yeah, my shoulder's going to hurt.
I bet. That's your new workout routine is curls,
Fuck that.
iron head curls. The idea here is what we want to do is we want to set a benchmark for what these things flow right now before we go through and we make any porting changes or do any kind of work to them beyond obviously the valve job that's been done in here. And what I want to see is a percentage increase. If we can see a 10% or a 15% gain, that's a pretty significant amount of gain. If we want to get real wild, we could probably see even more. But if you gain 20% or 15% or 10%, that gives you an idea on how much power you're going to make in addition to where you were originally. What?
I put it on backwards.
Well, if you'd have known that, you wouldn't have peeked around the corner.
Tell you what,
Got
man.
that right.
Tell you what.
Good God. One day and he's wanting his money.
I don't mess around, man. You know, they're wanting theirs. They're like,
What happened
"Hey,
to,
from that guy yet?"
what about net 30, net 60? What, that's not a thing up here?
That ain't a thing. What are you talking about? Net 30 minutes.
Net 30
You've
minutes.
been done way over that.
Pay your bill. I'm done. Pay your bill.
Oh,
Receipts at the next window. What'd you do? Now, what'd you do this time?
Just leave me alone.
I'm gonna leave this with you.
Oh, all right.
You got this right? The right way this time?
I hope so. Because you don't think I can pick it up again. I hate these
I can
gloves.
help.
I don't like these gloves. I usually never wear them. But I was working on somebody's rods and the fluid was nasty. And
Hey, you did it right.
oh, look at that. See, they're 2,960. They're less than a small block size.
So those are 196s.
Yeah.
And that's what's in these heads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the ones that are in this,
It's
211s.
Yeah. Two
So-
100s.
even compared to a stock big block Chevy valve.
Big block?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's small.
Okay.
Well,
If I could get my phone to work up here and I don't have cell phone signal land. walk outside so I can use my phone. I want to see if I can pull up any kind of thing about what my head flow numbers should be for these 62 heads, so we can kind of get some kind of a basic comparison. I'm not looking to light the world on fire, and if you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably heard me say that phrase a number of times. We're not gonna, we're not spinning this thing to 8,000 RPMs. We're not looking for, 500 horsepower out of this motor. It's a Pontiac 350 build with a factory camshaft or a factory crankshaft, forged eagle rods, a bit of compression in the pistons, a roller camshaft, a dual plane intake manifold. We may throw a bunch of different intake manifolds at this thing to be able to see what it does when it's on the dyno, but we're not expecting anything crazy out of this thing. We're not building for crazy power. Also, for those of you who are curious, why would you ever build a Pontiac 350 is a legitimate question. A lot of people will ask that exact same question because similar to AMCs, actually, Pontiacs are all externally the same size. In the generation that this is, Pontiac 350, Pontiac 400, and Pontiac 455, all physically are the same size motor, the same block size. Accessories mount, same thing. Everything is the same. You can mix and match things like Legos. So the question would be, why would you ever do this when you can just take a 350 out and stick a 455 in exactly the same hole, bolt it up exactly the same way, and rock and roll with an extra 100 cubic inches? And that's a very valid question, because it also costs you the same amount of money to be able to build a Pontiac 350 as it does a 455. So the real answer for that is because I'm stupid, but I wanted to be able to know this anyway. So Pontiac 350 HO build it is. And it should be interesting and unique, I guess. And I have 0 cell phone service here. All right. Moved your clay over. All right. So now we're going to start this over at 600?
Yeah.
And we need to start a new test?
Yeah.
Okay. So, be right back. All right, so we're going to do the same test over again with a 2-1 valve, and we're not testing exhaust.
And then the exhaust is 770.
1770?
1770.
Okay.
Well, we're trying to loosen this paper off of it.
Yeah, it's tried to fly about 15 times. Test name. I'm going to change this to... Okay. So this is my Pontiac valve, and this is a valve that's in your Dragon Slayer heads. Okay, so we're not horribly different. Okay. Okay, quick little technical support phone call. Figure something else out, so we're getting better. Comparing myself to Ron's Pontiac page. Got a whole bunch of head flow numbers here. There's nothing for a 94, so nothing to compare there. Our numbers look like they're a little higher than what everybody else is showing, but it is what it is. A set of 62 unported Pontiac heads show at 600 lift, they should be 204, is what he saw. So 204 at 600, 201 at 500, 193, 181, 157, and 87. So we'll pull on this thing and see what ours show up. And this is non-ported, but this is with a, I mean, the valve job will increase CFM also. Yeah. Over a stock setup. So, you know, there is some wiggle room to accept that there. This is a much better valve job than they got from the factory, so that would certainly help. So our numbers may be a little skewed on the higher side, but probably not by much. But it'll be interesting to see. And then again, the idea here is to compare what they are now versus what they'll be once we go through tour. So this is 600 lift. All right, so we're gonna go to data point number 6, range 4.
Yep.
Let's zero this out again real quick. Zero. Okay. Sample that. 208.7. Interesting.
I thought the other one was higher. Wasn't it?
Well, let's try this some more. All right, so 500 lift.
Yeah.
Still on 4.
Yeah.
Hit it. Identical, 208, 208.
Yeah, I didn't change it any.
Okay, we'll pull that to 400 lift. Okay. 204. I'd say we're flowing better in this range, I think, just off the top of my head. 300, and we're still in 4. Percentage pressure, we're still good. Okay. You already come down.
What was it?
191 at 300. All right, so then the next one we did 3, we were doing in, is that right? Next one's, no, we just did 3.
Let's do 3. Let's do 3 again.
Okay.
We need to have a calculator on this for me.
1, 2, 3.
I know. That was right.
190.
It was 91. 191.
Yeah, close enough. So then go down to 200 lift. And this is going to be pulled in range 3. All right, so 200 lift, range 3. Okay. And we're pulling that at 28 inches. $147, and then all the way up to 1, and then we're going to change that to range 2. Range 1, range 2, data point 1, range 2, that's at 100. We're going to have to pull it higher. We'll do this in 3. What's interesting is if you pull that, if you make that change from...
So, what we should have done was, instead of separating the other one, leaving it on the same page, and then we could have probably graphed it over.
I don't know if you could do that.
Oh, I bet we can.
I'm sure you can somehow.
Yeah.
Uh, 100 lift, we're at 82. 200 lift, we're at 147. 300 lift, we're at 190. 400 lift, we're at 404. 500 lift, we're at 208. 600 lift, we're at 208.7. So,
What was the other one?
we're going to have to figure out how to compare those two. But there's our head flow graph. Now, let me see if I can figure out how to compare these two. Okay, so comparing the two, interesting results. Technically speaking, my 94 heads, and again, we're just comparing, even leave the numbers alone, but testing 94 heads versus 62 heads, these actually flow better on the higher end, higher lift, than those do. Those flow better on the lower lift than these do, which is essentially what we're figuring out is we're going to chalk that up just to valve size, I think. And the 74 heads being kind of the later generation of heads versus...
Well, it's not
a gigantic difference.
No, I mean, they still at 220. Oh.
Yeah, that's the 94 heads versus what, 207?
Yeah.
208?
208.
So it's a decent amount of difference. And we're just, even if the numbers are wrong, you know, whatever the final number is, apples to apples, that flows better than this one does.
We could try a different cylinder.
Right now. Yeah, we could. It's not that hard to
I could put a valve in it.
switch that over. Just move the valves to another side. The question also would be, I don't think these heads have ever been touched. If you look at them, they don't look like anything's been cleaned up in these. They're still, you know, casting imperfections and things, and there's no signs of, you know, it doesn't, I don't think anybody's been in there and done any kind of work, but it's possible, I guess, maybe.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't feel so at all.
You think it's purely just down to casting difference? So I guess the moral of the story is even my 94s flow pretty well. Now, whether or not that 220 number is accurate or it's 180 or whatever it's supposed to be, you know, comparing dyno to dyno to dyno is a little bit different, but and we may be off slightly on our calibrations, but that flows. Bing, bang, boom. You want to try a different cylinder on this 62 and see if it does?
Yeah.
Okay. Test and verify, I guess. But, again, the big thing is going to be, we now have that data for what these things are in stock form. It'll be interesting to see what they'll flow after they've been ported. Because a 220 CFM, technically speaking, that's a probably 450 horsepower capable head. Somewhere in that range?
Yes. We can use it all.
Yeah. And there's no point to, and this also shows you that there's absolutely no point to go above 500 lift. You're not getting anything out of it on either head. You're negligible difference between the two. 208 on that one, 219 or 220 on that one. So there's no point in going above 500 lift. You're not gaining anything extra, other than the fact that you do carry that lift or that same amount of flow at 500 and 600 lift. So duration, I guess, would be the difference there. We're doing science. We're doing math. Is this exciting? Are you guys excited to see this stuff? I don't know. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. You watching this video is helping me pay Bob to do this kind of stuff. So I appreciate you being here. Go have some more iced tea. Keep a fat guy hydrated. I had a good lunch before I got up here. Bob apparently didn't have a very good lunch. I'm spoiled for lunch spots and being a urbanite. So we want to switch it over to a different valve or a different cylinder and retest our results. I'm genuinely quite curious now what these things will actually flow with a wee bit of porting on them. If this will flow 220, because that's realistically, I was thinking 220 would be on the after porting, 220, 230. Because if we could see 240, 250, but horsepower is an effect of torque over RPM. How much horsepower you're going to make is how much torque you make and how far you're willing to spin it to hold, and you can hold it out there. Pontiacs are not really known for spinning to really high RPM. We do have the roller camshaft for this thing, right? The specs for that? Is that this one that's above your desk?
I think so.
Because I know you guys are going to ask about this, I will show you the cam card that's going to go in this hydraulic roller setup, which is right here. And there she is. That's your cam card for the hydraulic roller setup. This is the XR276. So slightly more oomph than this one. This is the XR268, I believe. That's going to go in the flat tappet one. This is the XR276 hydraulic roller. So a bit more aggressive. Also being hydraulic, it should also free up some power. Yeah, HR268. Here's the one that goes in the flat tappet one. So 480 lift essentially on this one.
Yeah.
And it's 480 lift versus 510. I think is what our number is. Yeah, 480 versus 510. So we're doing science stuff. I like this stuff. Analytics, data, science stuff. Very analytical person. I may not look like a analytics nerd, but I am. Slight change of plans. This is the head we just tested. We have switched over to the other head, and we are going to test what would be cylinder 4 on the other head. That way we know what our flow numbers are on both sides, and then we can compare and contrast the difference between the two when we're porting them also. And the idea here is, I think you're going to port one of these, and I'll port the other one.
Sure, you can port both of them. Would hurt my feelings.
Sit here with a grinder for hours, and we'll see what we can get out of it. But this way we're going to kind of double verify our head flow numbers on two separate heads. Same setup on both sides. So I've got cylinder 4 loaded in here, 600 to 100 test, just like we did last time. We'll pull it, see what the thing does. All right, we're going to start with cylinder 6, test flow 4, zero this out. All right, zeroed out. $216. All right, back to 5. You all right? Need some tea? Hit it. So 400 lift. Dial her back. Hit the button.
See ya.
See ya.
Hey, get us some of those pills.
Yeah.
The Cooperate.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Little blue pills.
I wish. Oh, my heart
All right.
could take it.
I'll edit that part out.
1, 2.
You'll never know. All right, so 200 lift. And we're going down to range 3. Okay.
When you get closer to the 100%, the easier it is to maintain it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so then 100 lift. Oop, nope. Hang on. 300.
Did we do it on 3 or 2?
2. Ah, shit. Nope, nope, nope. Damn it.
What'd you do?
I just erased 300 lift.
So what are we at now?
I don't know. I think we're at 200 right now.
I'm at 100.
All right, so put it...
2, 3.
Yeah, let's redo 3, because I'm an idiot.
What range?
Range 4. All right. Try this again. All right, so then what we got left is
200.
100 lift.
Oh, you got 2?
Yeah, we already got 100. Or we got, so we need to do 100 at 2. Okay. Okay, so for those of you guys playing at home, 100 lift 83, 200 lift 144, 300 lift 197, 400 lift 210, 500 lift 215, 600 lift 216. So basically the same thing, 500 and 600 lift. That one does flow better than the other head, but that number could also be because of if there's maybe like a gap in the, who knows. We saw that when we were testing the other head, when we had a little bit of an air leak on there, that it had a little bit of a difference. But that gives us a baseline at least to be able to work from on these things. I am pretty reasonably happy with those numbers. I'm surprised that it doesn't flow better than the 94 heads, if I'm quite honest with you. I expected these to flow considerably less.
Figure out a way to pick this up so I can see if we got it over the cylinder on this one.
Yeah, let me just lift it straight up.
Yeah.
If I can.
Come over here and pick up that half and see if we can tilt it back. See what I'm saying? See if it needs to come that way. A little more. Looks like it lined up pretty good there.
Lost your donut.
So it looks like it's half. What would be a smart thing to do?
Right it. You want to retest it with shifting that around? The nice thing with this digital thing, and one of the reasons that we wanted to do this upgrade, is how quickly we can go through these tests. There's no pen and paper math, there's none of that. You just set it at 600 lift, bang, knock it out, sample it. Put it at 500 lift, bang, sample it. Put it at 400 lift, bang, sample it. You don't have to do any pen and paper stuff. There's no room for interpretation. The computer just takes all the samples and does it for you. So that's the nice thing about this upgrade, is it makes it a whole lot easier and more consistent. There's no math we have to do. Not saying you can't do it with a slide rule in your old guy mathematics. You certainly can. This is just a little easier for us. Okay, well, we're going to test them all. So...
Oh, yeah, I can charge more.
Wait a minute. All right, so Let me set this up for cylinder 6, right? Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so you guys don't need to watch us do this for an hour and a half. Let me go ahead and go through this, and then we'll go back and we can compare our results once we're all done. Have a powwow. What do you think so far? Are we idiots? For all of you who are curious how we're doing this, this is our custom-made for me Brzezinski Racing Pontiac 455 and 400 different bores that they built for me so I can test all kinds of Pontiac heads on this thing. This plate was specially made for me by these guys at Brzezinski, just so we can test this kind of stuff. So nifty little piece of machinery that's allowing us to do what we do. Unfortunately, you do need to have one of these for every type of head you're going to be flowing. So Bob has stuff for, you know, big block, small block Chevy type stuff that he normally uses. Didn't have anything for the Pontiac world, so I needed to order one. You gonna able to steal one off another one? Nope. Well, and so comes the conclusion our testing for today.
So
what we're looking for is we oopsied, broke the O-ring seal that seals the piece in there. So let me see if I could figure out a way to lay that
what
out.
I was just going to look was the average of all 3 of them we've done, and because they're pretty close.
They're not bad. Yeah, they're not bad.
I mean, it may be a good enough average to help us, you know, do a little work to them and then see if it
Yeah,
makes it better.
I think we've got some pretty good.
Data,
Yeah,
like it.
we don't have all 4 cylinders on this head. We got 3 of that, 3 of this, or 3 of this, 1 of this,
Right.
1 of that. But it gives us a real good baseline to work from, I think.
Because if we're done, I'm going to go ahead and mill this
Yeah.
and mill the other one that matches it, and then I can work it towards putting it together. And then, but let's take that one there and take it over there and hold on. Maybe I'll get you started. You can start grinding.
Put me over in the corner with a grinder and gigantic bottle of water. Sure you don't want to call it quitting time about that time?
So I wonder.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get but if you look down in these, like, there's a whole lot of ridges that are on here that are just, look down in here, all that kind of stuff, that casting flash. You want to get rid of all that stuff. You want to clean these things up as much as possible, so you have as little imperfections and I can show you that. Damn, cast iron heads weigh a ton. You see that? There we go. You know, these ridges, you want to get rid of all that stuff at minimum when you're cleaning these things up. And it's just as easy as just using a bit to go through and clean that up and retexture that. Also, you want to do this, you want to also make sure that you have a reference point with an intake manifold gasket compared to the actual ports that you're going to be working with. So run a bolt down in there on both these sides so it holds the gasket where it needs to be, and then scribe the difference between the gasket itself and the cylinder itself. You can see there where there's metal that's showing around where the gasket is. Similar over here, where you've got metal that's showing out from around the gasket. And you're just going to kind of scribe that, and you want to take all that metal out. Now, we're not going to get crazy. I'm not going to get wild on this. We're not going for race car porting job. These are going to be cleaned up, done a little bit of minor porting, And then we're going to head flow test them again. I think the heads are probably going to flow well enough that it'll support whatever we're going to ask for these things. But it is part of what I want to do with this, and part of why I wanted to flow these things, because I want to see what these things actually will flow ultimately once they get ported. And to be honest with you, this would be interesting to do on my Pontiac 455, the ones in my 1970 Le Mans, because we didn't really touch those heads at all. That's got a set of 6X-8 heads that's on it, and we didn't really do anything to those heads. And it makes very good power. I bet you there's a lot of power locked away in those cast iron heads if I were to really want to go work on them. Or I just leave it alone and I don't have to worry about it because it makes plenty of power. But this is a way you can find free horsepower, because all it really takes is a grinder and a bunch of time, and just sitting over here on a bench grinding like a dentist. So that will be an episode for another day. We don't have time for me to start spending hours and hours grinding on these things, but I will be up here very shortly to be able to do some more work over here with Bob. And fortunately, he is allowing me to do a lot of this stuff myself. Also probably because he doesn't want to do a whole lot of head grinding on old school cast iron Pontiac heads, which I can understand. So, we'll end this video here.
Okay.
Anything you want to say to the people? Were you happy with how that worked out?
Yeah.
Unique piece of technology. I think it makes it smoother, it makes it faster.
Absolutely.
It's still probably a two-man job to move through that quickly, but I'm interested to see what we get out of the porting thing and see if we can pick up. I mean, you really don't do anything in the world of like head porting.
No, I don't. I've messed around years ago. I don't have time.
Yeah, you're busy with all the other things.
I don't want to do it anyway.
But it should be interesting to see if we can pick up, I don't know, 10%?
I think it's going to be hard to get.
You think so?
But we'll find out.
Eric was saying when I was talking to him on the phone, on a set of double hump heads, if they flow like 206, 207, he's seeing like maybe 220 with porting.
Yeah, that would be mine.
10 to 12 CFM difference between the two.
Yeah. It's hard for me to believe you're going to pick up 50.
Oh, I can't imagine. Well, I mean, some of the old heads on Pontiac stuff will say you could port the hell out of these things and get 270 CFM out of these things. I don't think I don't need anywhere near that. I'm not looking for anything like that. I don't think this, and also Eric, thank you again for the conversation. He pointed out that a lot of times where you really see a lot of big gains on these things are when it's motors that are really starved for air because of the intake.
Yeah.
If it's a big, it's a big cube motor that's trying to get air and it just doesn't have enough ability to feed the thing, you can get some massive gains with minimal porting because the motor is so starved for air.
Right.
Because of just physical inches of air. I think because we're doing 350s, that's going to be less of a restriction. I think both those heads will probably flow okay for what we're looking to do. So I don't expect to see a major increase in power purely off of that. I'm just kind of curious how this works out. So, but all that will be in another video. We've already kept you guys long enough. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Thanks to Bob, as always, for giving up your afternoon.
I didn't give it up.
Well, it's on my tab. So that's our initial head flow testing. We're going to do some porting, which will not be very exciting, but I'll be up here and do that. We'll start working on that, and then we'll reflow the heads and see where they get. And at the end of the day, these are all going to be run on his engine dyno right back yonder, so we can see what all of this work and money will result in. And then they're going in my own Pontiacs. And I do have a Pontiac problem. I'll go ahead and acknowledge that now. If you're new here, I have a Pontiac problem. I have a multiple car problem. I have a 1968 Pontiac Le Mans, which is what one of those motors is going in. I have a 1970 Le Mans, which is the one that my 455 is already in. And I have a 1971 Le Mans, which is what my other Pontiac 350 are going in. Yes, I have 3 of exactly the same car. And I'm building 2 motors at the same time. Don't judge me. But thanks for being here and watching this video. You're helping to pay for it. So I'll see you on the next one, I hope. Take care. See ya. Bye-bye.